All right, everybody, we are back. Can't wait to get into today's show. I want to share with you something that I've just taught inside of our IHP Mastery Workshop. And when I was teaching it, when I was going over it with that small group, what I wanted to do was reiterate this. It's something that I've talked about years ago on the Cabral Concept, but I don't think that it gets the due that it deserves. So I want to bring it back around, talk about now how I use it a little bit differently in my own life and in my practice and with private clients, and share with you why I believe that you need to start instituting the 5-minute rule in your life as well. So let's all keep in mind that every day doesn't always go as planned. Sometimes we have the best of intentions, but we don't get enough sleep. Our kids were sick last night. Maybe we were sick, not feeling well. We're tired this morning. We're late to work. We've got a million things and deadlines to do. And then because of all of the stresses that we have on us, we just say, all right, well, all of the things that I wanted to do this week for me in order to make an impact in my life or the lives of others, I have to set that aside because I don't have the time, the energy, the money, the finances, the mood, whatever it might be, the health, right? We put all of those things to the side. I did it for many years myself. Right? That's the truth, is that I struggled with so many of these things, and I just tested so many things, like what works for me, what doesn't work for me. And I want to share those same things for you because some things will resonate more than others. But the 5-minute rule is one of the best psychological rules I've ever seen, and I'll explain that in just a moment. And the real reason is this, that when you don't get enough sleep, or your kids are up all night, or you've got a deadline at work, or things just aren't going your way, whatever it might be, it's difficult to psychologically say, well, forget all that. I'm just going to then, whatever you need to do, right? Study for your certification, do your classes, work on your book, or, begin your health coaching career change, or whatever it is that our community talks about, or even work on your own health, right? Do your workout, make your own food prep, all the things that you want to do for your health, or also relationship building, any one of those things. Okay, so you have this thing in your life that you're looking to accomplish, whatever those goals are. And I usually put them in terms of health, body transformation, relationships, spirituality, career, finances, whatever the goal is, but they usually fit within those 5 boxes. And relationships is family, it's career, it's spouse, partner, etc. And so the problem is that those are all the wants, and they don't usually become the priorities because the priorities are sometimes given to us by life, right? Like that's how we look at it. And so what oftentimes happens is that we skip the workout, we skip the healthy meal, we skip the going out with the friends, we skip all of the things that we kind of know that we want for our own reaching of our potential, or the improvements that we want to see in the areas that we have specific goals. But the issue is this, is that if we do that for long enough, we skip the workouts, pass on the healthy eating, we'll have greater issues in our life. And we know that, right? And so what we need to do is find a way that we can't keep continuing pushing those off while still dealing with stressors when they come up. The lack of sleep, the poor health, the poor mood, the deadlines. Okay, so this is how I look at it. And of course, I didn't invent this. It's been called the 2-minute rule before. It's been called the 5-minute rule. But the reason why I love it is that when we institute it, it does not negate all of the true issues that you have in your life right now. We'll just call them excuses because honestly they are. And I'm going to share that in just a moment. So what it's really saying is this. Yes, you do have all of these hardships right now, but even in spite of those, what we want to do is still get a little bit of you time in order to be able to move your life forward. So it's not saying forget about all those things, don't even think about them, just push through. That's a different mindset. That takes a lot of willpower. This says you do have a lot going on. There's no doubt about it. All I want is 5 minutes. That's it. So yeah, you didn't get a lot of sleep. Kids were up, they were crying, they were upset, they were sick. Now your health's starting to falter a little bit. You're getting run down. But I just need 5 minutes from you. And that 5 minutes is to institute the beginning of what would be a 30-minute workout, 30-minute study session, 30 minutes of reading, 30 minutes of a phone call with a friend, 30 minutes of reading from your spiritual-based text. right? Because you want it to lead to some time that actually will make a difference. 30 minutes, 60 minutes of study or meal prep or workout, it makes a huge difference. 5 minutes, not so much. But the 5 minutes is just this. It's allowing your brain to get off the hook. And I've used this, and I'm going to share with you how I've used it just in the past 4 weeks. So the 5-minute rule is this. If after 5 minutes of beginning the activity that you know that you should do, but you're kind of too tired or you've got a million other things to do, okay, if after 5 minutes of doing that, you still don't want to do it because of whatever the excuse was, then you can stop. But you have to do it for 5 minutes. And what psychology has found is that the hardest part of doing the thing is just getting the momentum and getting started. That's literally it, right? So I always hearken back to my personal training days. A client would come in and they say, you know what? I'm tired, hungry, I had a bad day, I'm stressed. And I would always say, listen, I get it. I totally understand. Your work is crazy right now. You've got a million things. Why don't we do this? Let's just start with some light stretching, maybe a little foam rolling, a light warm up. And if you're feeling it, we'll start to get on the workout. And if you don't, then we'll just keep it at that and you can leave. How's that sound? At least you'll get a little stretch in. They're like, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. So, and I know in the back of my mind what I'm doing, even though I'm only, 18, 19, 20 years old, because I started to read into psychology even back then. But also, it's just kind of like intuitive. Like, let's not overly push them. They're human and they've had a rough day. I really enjoyed working with my clients. That's the truth. And I think that's why I was able to move forward in that field, is because I very much enjoy working with people. And so what happened was this. Ultimately, in almost every single case, the person was like, because all we were doing is this, like, let's start with stretch. We always do these 5-floor stretches. And of course, you feel great as you start to stretch. Maybe we do a little bit foam rolling. Sometimes that's a little painful, but wakes up a little bit. But the whole time, I was having a little conversation with them. Hey, how was your day? Okay, tell me about it. Oh yeah, that does sound rough. And all I was doing was listening. And so they were kind of purging all of those toxic thoughts and emotions. And then I'd say, all right, let's start a little warm up if you don't mind. We're just going to start with some, lateral lunges or whatever it might be. And like, oh yeah. I'm like, all right, well, we still have 30 minutes left out of a 45-minute session. What do you think? Can we start doing some exercises? We won't make it too crazy today. No personal best. Start to get into great workout. You're already here. You're already changed. And like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. I already start to feel better. And that's really what it's all about. And again, I can tell you that happened pretty much every single time. I can't remember any specific cases where anybody was like, no, I think I'm going to leave now. But I'm sure maybe once it happened out of many, many years. And I think most personal trainers will share those same stories. Now, but what about when you're solo? What about when you're by yourself? Okay, so I've been running now consistently. Like, I've made it part of my routine because I don't like to run. I've run and played sports and, always loved the camaraderie part. But when I'm by myself, not so much. It's actually, I'm going to share with you an embarrassing statistic. When I run by myself, it is a full 1.5 to 2 minutes slower per mile than when I run with another individual. That's the honest truth. And I try to push myself, and I know, because I'm watching my watch, I'm watching my heart rate, and whatever it is, it's the act, for me at least, not for everybody. For me, running in cadence with another individual, I just flow. I can flow through it by myself. It's like drudgery, but I'm committed to it, and I don't run long distances, but I'm committed to it for my health. And so I do it. So it used to be 3 times a week. And I was like, you know what? It's a little bit much on my knees. Let's do Monday and Fridays, and Wednesday I'm going to use the bike. And so it's been going well. But there are many days that I just don't want to run. That's the truth. So I say to myself, I have the same issues there, but I'm too tired. It's the end of the day, et cetera, et cetera. Here's what I do. I just say, all right, if I don't want to run, I'm going to at least walk. And I'm going to walk for that same 30 minutes to 40 minutes. And that's what I'm going to do. And inevitably, after 5 minutes of walking, because it's the 5-minute rule, I could turn around and just say, you know what? Just try running just for a few minutes. And so I just start to get into it. And I say to myself the whole time, hey, if you want to stop and walk, you can walk. And what inevitably happens is, say, I'm there, I'm already out, got my sneakers on, got my shorts on, might as well keep running. And so it allows me, though, just to walk if I want to walk. And honestly, there have been days where I've stopped running, walked for a little bit, started running again, walked a little bit, and I was okay with it. I wasn't going to beat myself up about it because I said to myself in the beginning, because you have to be honest with yourself, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. Like, that's the truth. But you can't let that build up over weeks. So what I say is, today's a workout day. It's a committed day. This is a cardio day, not a weight training day. Sure, you probably go like to lift weights instead of cardio, but today's not a weight training day. It's an aerobic day, not an anaerobic day. So that's what I do. Another example would be this, and this is sometimes because I know there's a lot of my colleagues listen to this show as well, is that, sometimes you don't necessarily want to write the article, write the social media post, record the podcast, whatever it is. And it's not because you don't love what you do, but you have to do it every day and you do whatever. And sometimes you're just like, you know what, I just need a little break. So at the same time, you can say, okay, we're going to just sit down and write, but we're only going to write for 5 minutes. That's all. Like, you're literally only going to write for 5 minutes. And if nothing is flowing at that point, you can stop. Okay. Lately, like, I love talking. I love recording my show, all of those things. But I've been working this very large research project. And I said I would have it out by the end of last year, and it's still not out. And it's not because I didn't want to get it out to people. It's not that. It's just like everybody, so much to do, right? And you got to keep prioritizing. So I said to myself, you know what? I really need to get this out. I really need to get it out. I promised to people. I can't break my promise. I need to make this happen. But it's not a small take. It's 10,000 words on 100, different books and a lot of different research articles that I have all the notes for, but they're everywhere, right? The notes are just kind of all over the place, and it's with stream of consciousness and links to everything and PubMed articles. So I said this, we just need to start. So we're going to start. We're going to write for 5 minutes. We're going to start to put it together. And if by the end of 5 minutes, okay, we'll then reassess and look at it again next week. And so what happened was, though, once those 5 minutes have gotten started, and I basically, title of the paper, started to go down, started to outline it, just break out the sections like, okay, this is how it starts. This is how we can look at it for early detection. This is what then we would use in conventional medicine. This is what you would do in natural-based health. This is how you can combine the two. And so I just started to go through it. I'm like, oh, no, this is actually really fascinating. It's really fascinating for me to begin to unravel this as well. So 5 minutes leads to a couple hours worth of work. But every single time it was this, it's your feelings, your emotions are not invalid, they're valid. But are we going to allow that to stop us from doing what we know that would give meaning to our life, right? And so that's always what I'm looking for. And sometimes you just need a day off. But don't give yourself the day off without that 5-minute rule being instituted first. Because if you've already blocked the time, at least give it a shot. At least see if it's just literally that adhesion that we need to pull away before we can then start to feel free to be able to flow into our workout, our meal planning, our going out with our significant other, our focus on spirituality, like whatever it is that we need to do, the reading, all the study that we need to make happen. It's there. It's not difficult. It just needs to get done. But there's this mental break that needs to happen between the tiredness, the fatigue, and again, most of it is mental, right? Again, if you just miss one night's sleep, and by missing it, I mean you got an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours less, like you're probably going to be okay. If it's weeks of that, that's a different story. You're not going to want to push a super hard workout. But if it is simply you needing to move past your own mental blocks, oftentimes this simple 5-minute rule is all it takes to be able to make that switch. The transition from I can't, I'm too tired, I won't, to let me give it a try. And if it doesn't work, I can always stop. And I do believe that at least 9 out of 10 times, you're then going to be able to move one step further towards achieving all of the goals that you've set for yourself in life. So hopefully this show was helpful. It is something that I've been using over the past couple of months. I teach inside of IHP Mastery. I wanted to share that specifically with you. If you've ever used it before, something like it, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And of course, as always, I appreciate you. I thank you. Do feel free to share the show with anyone you believe it could serve. I'll be back tomorrow on the Cabral Concept. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.